Hey BookTube! I am the Book Mage, welcome back to my channel. It has been a while since I've done a book unboxing, which you wouldn't think, because I do a lot of those. But what that means is that I have got quite a few monthly book subscription boxes that have built up over the past couple of months, and I feel like the easiest way to deal with this is just to do a dedicated unboxing of all of my book subscriptions. So the usual ones you guys will know about are Fairyloot, Illumicrate, and the Goldsboro GSFF subscription. I have also, finally, managed to get myself onto the Broken Binding subscription. And then finally, I also have a new subscription. This is the Inkstone Books quarterly subscription. And at the time that I was first planning to film this video, the first book of the first quarter had just come out, and I was going to be right on time. And then the monthly Goldsboro book for, I think, April ended up releasing, or at least getting dispatched to me after their box for May. I was intending to unbox these on time in April. I figure this is going to go up in June at this rate. So with that said, I have a whole bunch of books to unbox today, and I'm not really sure what order they're going to come out in. Mainly because if I've got two Illumicrates, I don't know which one's which, but we're going to have fun unboxing them together. So if you like seeing pretty special edition books, then this is definitely the place for you. So first things first, I have two Inkstone Books subscriptions. I don't know which one is which, but this one looks slightly more beat up, so I'm assuming this is the one from the first quarter. And this is going to be my first time unboxing anything from Inkstone Books. So I don't know what order these are going to come out in, but it's pretty well wrapped in bubble wrap, but we know how I feel about bubble wrap hell. So just by way of introducing this, because this is a new subscription for my channel, although I'm guessing other people have posted their boxes well before now, but Inkstone Books is a quarterly sci-fi and fantasy subscription box, so you only get 4 books in a year, but at this rate, for me, I feel like that might be for the best. And so with that said, the very first book from this subscription is Infinity Gate by M.R. Carey. So it does come in this mylar sleeve, and my ring light does not want to behave. But I believe this is just the standard cover. I do not think they do any sort of cover swaps, so it's not like there's anything really to see here. This being the very first release for their subscription service, the only sort of thing that this book has at the moment is it has these cute orange sprayed edges, and also it is signed. And just to give you an idea how small this subscription is at the moment, there are only 350 of this edition. So this is from an internationally best-selling author. This is apparently set in the multiverse, a tale of humanity's expansion across millions of dimensions and the AI technology that might see it all come to an end. This says, the Pandemonium is a political and trading alliance of a million worlds, except they're really just one world, Earth, and in many different realities. And when an AI threat arises that could destroy everything the Pandemonium has built, they'll eradicate it by whatever means necessary, no matter the cost to human life. Scientist Hadiz Tambuwal is looking for a solution to her own Earth's environmental collapse when she stumbles across a secret of interdimensional travel. It could save everyone on her dying planet, but now she's walked into the middle of a war on a scale she never dreamed of, and she needs to choose a side before it kills her. And apparently this is from the author of The Girl with All the Gifts. I've not read that book. I don't actually know what it's about, but I have heard a lot of people on BookTube mention it, so potentially, if you did read that, you may want to pick this up. I know for a fact that these special editions are only going to get more special from here. And I know that because of the second book in this haul. So I didn't know that this book was going to be on their subscription, but I knew that someone was probably going to do it, and I was so freaking glad that they did, because this is one of my most hype books for this year. If you've seen my video on books that I've pre-ordered and that I'm super excited for, this is one of them. I'm so excited to finally have this in person. Oh, it comes with a free little bookmark as well. So the book that has got its grip around my throat right now is The Sword Defiant by Gareth Hanrahan. Obviously, because I have multiple copies, the only way you can get this book is in floppy paperback. Inkstone Books, oh my god, you know Inkstone Books have got my back. Exclusive hardcover edition of the book. Thank you. I'm so my life for you right now. Because we all know that I hate when books are paperback only. This book also has red sprayed edges. There's a line on mine for some reason. I feel like if this were a digital or stenciled design, I might be more bothered. As it's just plain red edge, it doesn't really bother me that much. We have foiling. It's so gorgeous and shiny. I love this foiling. It's so simple, but I love this creepy red sword with the eye. So I tend to go into my books as blind as possible, but I do know a little bit about this one, and paraphrasing, because when am I not? I believe this book is set in a world where a bunch of heroes have previously defeated a big bad guy, and I think they took his weird dark magical weapons for themselves, and many years later either another evil being, or possibly like the same one, I'm not entirely sure, rising again, and basically these heroes need to go back out and save the world a second time, except that the main character, when he's like, I think, going to get like his little band of adventurers back together, some of his former allies may have been themselves consumed by this darkness or have become evil in the years since they've been at peace, and so some of his former friends are now going to be the enemies that he's fighting. That is what I recall from like the synopsis of this book. I'm hyped for this, I'm here for this. I love, like, please give me like some real just depressing angsty old men. I live on it. I'm very excited for this one. I honestly would have picked this up by now if not for like my little April-y reading slump issue. And yeah, I'm so happy that I have this edition. I realise that for other people this might not look like the most special edition, but it's the fact that it's one of my most anticipated books, and prior to this subscription I would have had no way of getting this in hardcover. Hardcover does not exist. It only exists for this one subscription, and I'm so thankful. Okay, from there I think I'm going to move on to Illumicrate because I can see the giant orange boxes just like glowing at me. And again, I'm going to start with the one that looks a bit more gross and beat up because I'm assuming that this one came first. So this is Lies We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood, and this is a very squat kind of little book, but I really like this. It has a very papery feel, but I feel like it makes the foil, and there's like a lot of foil. Can you even see all the foil? I feel like it makes the foil look really nice. I actually really like this edition. The sprayed edges are like, they're giving me like big Odyssey kind of vibes, but I'm feeling like this book is maybe like Greek mythology inspired. So it is signed on the end paper here, but there is like some subtle foiling on the end paper, and I really like this. Again, like the really subtle foiling, but I feel like it works better on this one because it's against like a darker background. And like also these colours are like pretty much like my favourite colours, like dark teal. Under the dust jacket, I love this design. It's got a very like smooth, like almost plasticky feel. Something about this makes me feel really nostalgic. Like, I don't know what it is. I love this. This is a lovely design. I feel like this is such a gorgeous edition. Okay, so this is set in Ithaca in ancient Greece. Every summer brings the hanging of 12 maidens, a gift to the vengeful Poseidon. For 17 years, Leto has escaped the curse's mark until now. But death does not claim Leto. Instead, she wakes on a mysterious island, greeted by the immortal Melantho. She tells Leto that Ithaca's sacrifices are the legacy of the great Odysseus, payment for the lives of Queen Penelope's 12 maids cast into the ocean centuries ago. So this seems like it's going to have like a love triangle romance in it as well. It was so strong until that point because like I love Greek mythology and Greek inspired stuff, but then when you started getting onto the, oh, but there will also be a love triangle explicitly between these three people, it's like, God, okay. I could have done without that. I'm assuming this is then a YA, and like honestly, when does a YA not put some sort of like, can you have a YA without a romance plot? Will they allow it at this point? Do you know what I'm just realizing? I feel like a while ago I remember seeing a whole load of like commotion about the fact that a YA author was writing like an Odyssey like reimagining, hadn't actually ever read the Odyssey. Is that what this is? Is this like the severely bastardized Odyssey? And like, I'm not saying like you have to be super precious with Homer's Odyssey. Like, I kind of feel like you can do whatever you want with it. But to be like, oh yeah, I'm explicitly writing an Odyssey retelling or reimagining, but I will not read the original? Did she even read the Spark Notes? Is that this book? If it's not, I'm going to cut out this clip. I'm going to Google it afterwards though. If it is, that's such a shame because this is like a lovely edition. Oh, I've just noticed her earring is a noose. I like that. That's cool. My earrings are crosses, so honestly I feel like she might have the more goth earrings at this point. Not sure how I feel about that. Like, at that point, why even make it like based on the Odyssey? Why not just say like it's vaguely based on like Greek mythology? Just make it your own thing. Put it in a fantasy world. I feel like you have to have a lot of gall to be like, I'm gonna market my book like explicitly like as a continuation of this thing that I refuse to engage with. Yeah, odd choice. Also, like, why not just read it? Like, I know it's old as heck, but like, the Odyssey is good. Moving on, however, to our next Illumicrate. Ooh, this one is shiny. Odd cover. I feel like, I know I'm wearing lenses, so this is some Desperate Glory, but something about this, like, it looks like there's a piece of like clouded plastic over the front that's like making it dull, but I think that is just the intent. Like, I thought it was like a holographic shine or something. It isn't. It's just kind of like a, almost like everything's pastel, almost like it's got like a white sort of like overlay on top of it. Do you see what I mean? It's making my eyes feel like there's something wrong with them. However, do you know what my eyes can see? Look how gorgeous this is! The Tumblr girlies would love this. Honestly, I say that like I wasn't on Tumblr. I think you can tell I was on Tumblr. So this book is Some Desperate Glory by, oh, Emily Tesh. So I have to admit, I wasn't totally like feeling this book, again because it's a sci-fi, and I don't know whether it was going to be adult or YA because Illumicrate do both. However, Emily Tesh, I'm pretty sure, is the author of Silver in the Wood, which was a very short duology that I actually quite liked. And really my only sort of like, it's not even an issue, but the only reason I didn't rate those books higher was because they were both novellas, and I was always like, I want more. Like, I need more to make me care more. This book is more. So this is what the first end paper looks like, and it's different on the back as well. And they've got a very nice quotation on the front. I actually really like that. It's simple, but like I feel like this matches the vibe of the book like so far very well. It says, all her life, Kia has trained for the day she can avenge the destruction of planet Earth. So she is one of the best warriors of her generation, the sword of a dead planet. Then Command assigns her brother to certain death and relegates her to the nursery to bear sons, and she knows she must take humanity's revenge into her own hands. Alongside her brother's brilliant but seditious friend and a lonely captive alien, Kia must escape from everything she's ever known. If she succeeds, she'll find a universe far more complicated than she was taught and far more wondrous than she could imagine. So this looks like it's going to be about a lot of found family. It is a standalone space opera, and I can't tell if it's adult or YA. I feel like the plot is leaning YA, but Emily Tesh has previously only written adult books, so this might be her first foray into YA. But to be honest, I think I much prefer when an adult author moves into writing like a YA rather than a YA author moving into writing adult books. I feel like it usually goes smoother. Somewhere I have some more Goldsboro books. Moving on, I'm going to open my Goldsboro books next, and again I've got two of these. So I'm pretty sure that this is the book that caused all the issues, because I think it had to go for like reprints because there was an issue or something, which I understand is definitely like beyond Goldsboro's control. If there's an issue with the printer, that's not really on them. However, they're really bad at keeping in touch and like giving constant updates, because this book took a long ass time to get out. Oh, you guys know where I am. I am in bubble wrap hell. I just feel like it's overkill. I just feel like this is too much bubble wrap for one book, and also I hate the sound. At least finally I have this in my hand. This book is Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. Look, it's got a dragon in it. That's all I need. This is what the sprayed edges look like, and here is the foil under the dust jacket. Now, Goldsboro do not always do foils. They do not always do special things to their special editions. Like, I feel like 9 times out of 10 they just do a sprayed edge and like that's it. And I feel like it just looks like really nice with the edge as well. The edge could honestly be darker. Like, I feel like it's meant to be black and red, but it's honestly more of like a very obvious grey. I have been a bit iffy with the subscription, but this is one of the books where I was like, I cannot cancel until I have this, because it's a dragon. It's a dragon. It's 3 things that will get me to read any book: dragons, vampires, mages. If you know literally any book that exists on the planet that has all 3 of those things, give it to me. This had dragons, one of my top 3 things that I need in a book, so of course I was going to get it. So on the back this says, the last male dragon, a desperate thief, a bond that will save the world or shatter it. Long ago humans betrayed dragons, stealing their magic and banishing them to a dying world. Centuries later their descendants worship dragons as gods, but the gods remember and they do not forgive. So I'm just skimming through like the synopsis, and I believe it's saying that the dragon character is going to be trapped in human form, which, do not do me like this. They better be a dragon at some point in this book, because otherwise that is a cop-out. You cannot put a big dragon on the front of this book and be like, okay, yeah, but you won't see it. Like, I had better have the opportunity to see some, like, actual dragons. Like, give me dragon shenanigans. Okay, moving on. Oh god, here we go. So the next book is Perilous Times by Thomas D. Lee. This also gives me dragon vibes. Can we see like it could be some sort of just any sort of generic worm, I guess, but this gives me dragon. This gives me dragon. This is an interesting colour scheme. Interesting like tree branch design carries on around the pages, and this has a ribbon bookmark. Does this have, no, so they never have end papers, but does this have anything? Ooh, we have some foiling, and it's very simple. It's just like the tail that was on the front cover, but I like this. It's a really nice like shiny gold. This is an Arthurian retelling, I think. So this says, in perilous times like these, the realm doesn't just need a hero, it needs a knight in shining armour. Sir Kay and his fellow knights awake from their mythical slumber whenever Britain has need of them. They fought at Agincourt and at Somme. But in these perilous modern times, the realm is more divided than ever. A dragon has been seen for the first time in centuries, and Kay is not the only ancient and terrible being come crawling up out of the ground. I have so many mixed feelings. I like the fact that the knights are basically being reanimated. Their souls are basically permanently on call. Confirmed, we get a dragon. So even if Dragonfall doesn't have actual dragons, even though it has dragon in the title, don't know how that works, at least we'll get a dragon in this, for sure. I could totally be into this. The only thing I'm so realising, there's a power station over here. I'm never normally a fan of when fantasy blends with the modern day. I know some people love it. I'm not typically one of those people. I'm definitely gonna like hang on to this and give it a go at some point. Oh, there's mushrooms on the front as well. Okay, that gets bonus points from me. I just discover more and more. Every time I say like, I'll give it a go, I'll try something, I end up really not liking any sort of modern day elements of pretty much any book I read ever. It's just not for me. Like, I'm sorry, I live in the modern day. Like, if I wanted to experience the modern day, here I am. But I will give this a go because there's a lot in that synopsis that does appeal to me. So what more have we to open? I think we're like past the halfway point now though, for books. Tell you what, let's get some Fairyloot going. And real talk, I love how small the Fairyloot boxes are compared to like all the other subscriptions. Mainly because when I like get so many at once, it's easier to stack them. Okay, this is, okay, I know what this book is. So this is the April 23 book. So this is Strings Attached. And the minute I saw this, I knew exactly which book this is. It's not a book that I'd been interested in at all or looked into, I'll be honest, and I'm one of those people that like constantly hound the like special edition section of Waterstones, and I've seen the special edition of this book so many times there and I was just never interested. But I guess fate said that I was gonna get a copy regardless, so yeah, let's see what Fairyloot did with it, and who knows, maybe I'll end up reading it. So I immediately see some like dusty pink sprayed edges. I think it's this way round. Interesting. This is definitely a big departure from the original cover. I'll put the original up here, you can kind of see. Yeah, that's a big difference. I feel like the original cover is probably like way more unique and striking, I guess, but I mean, even then it wasn't gonna make me pick it up. This I feel like fits more into like the vibe. I look at this and honestly, if I saw this book cover in a bookshop, it's so generic and overdone at this point that I feel like I would probably never ever pick this up in a bookshop. I would never like look twice at it. However, in terms of like my vibe of the books that I do own, I feel like this fits in better with like what I enjoy visually compared to the original cover. So I think that's a plus. Although I will say I have so few books that are like bright green, and I was kind of excited to see like a bright green book or like a colour change of a bright green book. But once again, Fairyloot find a way to make every book like pink and purple. Like it's a really interesting change. I don't hate it though. It actually works really well with these sprayed edges. These look really pretty. There's nothing under the dust jacket. Sometimes there is, but honestly I never use reversible covers, so it doesn't bother me. This is lovely. I love this. This reminds me of some sort of like interactive thing that I do in a video game, but like I can't think what one. But yeah, I like this. This is a really cool design. I like how different this is, and like I like the cute little title down here. These end papers are also lovely. Yeah, it's the same on both sides. I really do like the end papers though. What I do need to know is what the hell this is about. I'm just having a brainwave. Is this the first male author we've had on the Fairyloot adult subscription? Daring new ground for Fairyloot. So this says, in a small home built into the branches of a tree, a human named Victor lives with 3 robots, a nurse machine, a vacuum, and an inventor android. So they end up salvaging a 4th robot, which is another android. It's not massively my thing. As like a story, it doesn't grab me. I know that a lot of people have been really hyped for this book. It's just not one that's really, it might be one that like I'll maybe like try the first chapter or something. I can't see this being like a new favourite or anything. I just don't think it's my kind of thing. That said, it is a lovely addition. That said, it is time for our next Fairyloot. The theme is Kiss or Kill. I feel like that theme could be like any month of Fairyloot. I know they're coming out with like a fantasy romance subscription, and that did confuse me because like this subscription, it doesn't say it's romance fantasy, but it is. I think the only difference is going to be that the ones on the other subscription have like explicit sex scenes in them, but you would think if they were adult, truly adult, and not just like YA in different packaging. Anyway, what have we got here? Very interesting new take. I should probably show you. This is The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramis. I don't recognise this book at all. I'm seeing 2 other book covers for this, and I'm honestly not sure. I'm assuming one of them must be US and one must be UK. Both of the alternative covers look way more adult than this one. This looks very like, this looks like a YA cover design. I'll put the others here. There's one with like a wolf, and then one is like a hand and like some stuff. So I think I do kind of, I really like both of these. I feel like these are fine for covers. They are a little bit bland, I'll be honest, but I feel like the vibe of those covers, I'm much more likely to walk into a bookshop, and especially the one with like the wolf's head, I think it's a wolf, I'm much more likely to pick that up than this, because if I saw this I would think, oh, that's a YA with a super special snowflake female protagonist. I feel like it might be my issue of I don't like characters on book covers. I like to be able to picture them myself, and I feel like 99% of cover art for YA female protagonists are very similar in terms of face, body, and hairstyle. Literally the only thing that ever changes between them is like hair and eye colour. This girl does look like literally every single other character I've ever seen on like cover art. That said, I don't hate the design. I really like this sort of like background, like, is it meant to give like the effect of like an aureole? And I think the colour scheme is really, really interesting. I do like the colour scheme. I think it's very unique, and I like that they're not always doing the same thing over and over again, and I like that they've actually done like a full alternate cover. And to be totally honest, if I hated the cover and really wanted like the original cover, I could just go buy the original cover. Yeah, I appreciate the fact that they've done something like really different. I'm not a huge fan of the sprayed edge. I can see what it's doing. It's meant to mimic like it's almost like dusk, do you know what I mean? I just will say that it looks kind of muddy in the middle. I think if you had like a cleaner or like more gradual gradient, it might have worked out better, because it kind of seems like a block of colour and a block of colour with like just this little patch to like blend it out, and they're not blending into each other very well. Again, I don't really mind it too much. I just feel like compared to some of the other sprayed edges we've been getting recently, it kind of feels like a step backwards. It feels very basic. I understand that they probably put way more effort into the cover, and so like didn't have the extra resources to do something like cool on the page, but I maybe would have just stuck to like one colour or something. The naked hardcover, please, that's gorgeous. So it's this beautiful like a grey, like a light grey, and it has like gorgeous sort of like coppery rose gold foiling. Look at this, like this is proper like rose gold in colour as well. So shiny and gorgeous. I absolutely love the design of this. It doesn't carry around onto like the back, but the spine is very nice as well. These are the end papers. It's different in there, and again like that's the sort of like orangey dusk colour, and then like the muted bluey nighttime colour. I feel like the colour scheme for this book is like they've really got it in check. Even if it's not like my favourite, I think it's really unique, and this definitely stands out. Let's see what it's about and how far into the synopsis it tells us about a romance. I promise I'm not salty. I'm just like, I will do so many shots the day that Fairyloot sends me a book that doesn't have like romance as like the main point of the book. So this says, as spymaster to the Queen, Aya's blood oath ensures she protects those she fights alongside, including Will, the Queen's enforcer and Aya's bitter rival. When rumours of dark magic rise in a nearby kingdom, both are sent to investigate, but when Aya's power acts beyond her god-given affinity, she risks being turned into a weapon in a war she doesn't know how to win. And when her relationship with Will unexpectedly shifts... Was it unexpected? Neither knows the danger that will follow. The word unexpected has never been used so incorrectly. Yeah, I do, again, I like the whole dark power thing, that's fine. Again, I know that this is an adult subscription. I still feel like nearly all of the books Fairyloot sends out are YA fantasies with like just different packaging, to be honest. Like, what makes this an adult book in comparison to a YA? And if it's just the addition of like a little bit more spice or like some swearing or like the tiniest bit of gore or something, I feel like it's not enough. I feel like I need some like adult themes, some like just, I feel like I just need more. That said, this is a really cute edition, and sometimes it's rare. It's very rare, but sometimes I do think, yeah, maybe I do feel like kind of reading like this kind of romantic fantasy, maybe. Sometimes the mood will strike, and if it does, I'm gonna keep this very pretty edition around just in case. Oh, okay. I feel like we're onto my final subscription now, which is, I'm so glad to say, it is the Broken Binding subscription. All of their books go into boxes that look exactly like this. They're all the same, and they've released so much recently that, like, I don't know which of these is my subscription book and which are just like regular books. So I also don't know which order they're going to come in. But I believe what Broken Binding do is they release like a whole series like at once. So if it's a trilogy, you'll get book 1 one month, book 2 the second month, and book 3 the third month. And so I think that 2 of these boxes are month 1 and 2 of this current series. I don't believe they've sent out book 3 just yet. I feel like that is the book for June. I was so incredibly super happy that the series they chose was the one that I'm about to unbox, because again, it's one of those series where it was only ever published in paperback, and there was previously one like special release of them in hardcover, and that was through Anderida Books, but the thing is, I missed out on it. So many times I have thought about these books and how much I would really love to have them, but especially in hardcover. And then, do you know, Broken Binding just like came to my rescue and was like, you're joining the subscription, finally, and it's going to be in like an amazing, incredible special edition. So, little bookmark. And again, I say it every time, but like, I love their packaging. It's so superior to everyone else, and like, it's so simple. It's just a ribbon and like some nice wrapping, but it's just so much nicer. I'm so excited for this. Oh, yes. Oh, look at it. Oh, I have coveted this book for so long. This is The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. And firstly, I'm always super attracted to any sort of book cover that looks like any sort of like ink on parchment. It's the same for the Robin Hood books, it's the same for the First Law books. I just really love this vibe. Super bonus, this has a big dragon in it. I love dragons. So you can probably see why I was so excited for this book, because dragons! Look at those sprayed edges. Actually, how amazing are they? They're so detailed. Truly think that, I know that when you line them up it's going to create like a little scene, but like, that's so detailed. It's just black on the top and bottom, but there is a ribbon bookmark, and look, let's get to the underneath. Now, it might be hard to tell, it is like silver foil on black, and like, it's so striking. It's a complete wraparound print. I love this. It's like a big dragony sea serpent surrounded by flotsam, and then when you open it up, the end papers, look how cool. I think, yeah, and on the back as well. The design on this, like, it's so cohesive. This stands out so much. It's extremely striking. It's not at all the same as like the front cover, which is very much kind of like, reminds me of like parchment and woodcut and that sort of thing. And yet, the vibe fits perfectly like with the aesthetic of the front cover. I'm so impressed. This looks so cool. Oh, look at the map as well. I love it. I love it. I'm so psyched to like finally have this in my hands. So let me refresh myself on the plot, because it's been since this got published, since I last looked at it. So this says, 2 nations at war, a prize beyond compare. For generations, the 100 Isles have built their ships from the bones of ancient dragons to fight an endless war. The dragons disappeared, but the battles for supremacy persisted. Now the first dragon in centuries has been spotted in far-off waters, and both sides see a chance to shift the balance of power in their favour. Because whoever catches it will win not only glory, but the war. This is so my vibe. This is so perfect for me. Yes, I also really like seafaring fantasy as well, but like when it's done right, I guess. But I have really enjoyed it in the past. I really liked how it was done in Red Seas Under Red Skies. And also, I feel like it's not done a lot. The only one I can think of at the moment is Amina Al-Sarafi. Am I going to get to this summer? I say that. I have so many books that I want to get to, but like cool, dragony, seafaring fantasy might be very high on the list. And of course, I also have book 2. Here it is. Just the colour scheme. Again, like the red looks so good on the parchment, but also like this is so close to my favourite colour. Look at these edges. Are they not amazing? They have like a little scene that lines up, and obviously the third book will make this even cooler. So again, you've got very similar under the dust jacket. Again, really cool end papers. That might be my favourite end paper so far. Look at this beast! I've not even read this yet. I'm on the dragon side. I'm on the sea serpent side. Like, I don't even care. That's so cool. And I wish I could be unboxing the third book for you now, and also like for myself. I do not believe it's been sent out yet. I think that's the subscription box for like this coming month, which means that you'll just see it in my next haul. But also I could definitely not wait to do this video, because like I cannot add a whole other month's subscription boxes to this as well. Like, this was enough. There's paper everywhere. So with that fantastic finale, I'm pretty sure that's it. I mean, I am seeing dozens of books that I haven't hauled yet, but they're not for this video. I'm in an endless cycle here. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this. There were just so many lovely, pretty, shiny books, so like, I mean, what's not to like about this video, honestly? If you did make it this far, leave me a little dragon emoji, because I feel like we've had so many dragons. Honestly, so good for me. Not complaining. And on that note, let me know if you guys have read any books this year that have dragons in them, because like, I could always use more. Personally, right now, I have quite a lot to choose from, but then like, when is that ever not the case? So with that said, I think that brings us to the end of the video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. There are of course a whole load more unboxing videos across my channel if that's your thing. And looking at the books around me, it won't be too long before I do another, so consider sticking around and hopefully I might see you in the next video. Bye!